Hello, a very warm-hearted welcome to the new semester and the new course, Programming with Spatial Data. This short video is just intended to show you briefly how our website is set up. So you will have found the link to that website in the syllabus or in the course information on OLED. And the intention would be that we briefly give you a run-up where to find what. So first of all, the website offers you a dark mode and a light mode. So depending on whether you are a late owl or an early bird, you can switch the settings rather easily. You also find on top search bar, you can search for any term you stumble over and look up where it's indicated on the website. Otherwise, you see a lot of white space in here. This will hopefully then filled by the video. But importantly, on the left-hand side, we see the menu where you see all the different lessons. Preceding the lessons, we have a section about the course setup, which is meant to look up anytime you have questions about the course. You will find a brief introduction. You will see who is taking part in our team this semester. You can review the syllabus as you like, but probably what might be more of a long-term help might be the different resources. So here you can find either online books, YouTube channels, and respective recordings, podcasts, blogs. Whatever you find of interest, you will probably find here. However, don't feel overloaded. Like this can easily happen, getting drawn in that load of information. That collection of resources is simply meant to provide additional resources if they're valuable to you. If you look for something specific, feel free to talk to us, and we can also provide you additional guidance. But here's just a collection of different items which are first of all free and second of all online, so easy to find. What I would like to highlight is our error culture, because this is quite often misunderstood. Quite often we have the assumption like we need to come up with a correct answer. This is not the case here. We don't expect that you have all the right answers. Our expectations are more directed to learning. And learning quite often times, funnily, happens just being wrong. And then realizing, oops, there's an issue which you can learn from. So read the section carefully to just reassure you that the course is about learning, not about being correct. Okay, once you've read the About section, have a look at this course setup. So here you will find, first of all, in the setup, a nice section of what different tools exist if we program with spatial data. And again, it's quite easy to feel overwhelmed and being just loaded with a suite of different tools. This is not the idea. The idea is that you should realize over time, first of all, there are multiple tools which I can use. They all have a dedicated, specific, different purpose. And ideally, you become familiar with them over time. The idea is not that you learn all these tools overnight. It's more like over the semester. Ideally, you should have some exposure. What I would recommend for a start is that you read the section on Conda. Conda is a package management tool which is really helpful to manage all the different dependencies, because quite often times we will depend on different packages. And Conda makes a great job of disentangling these dependencies and just providing them the way you need them to work for you. So read the section on Conda. You might be already familiar with Colab or Jupyter Lab, but the combination of Conda and Jupyter Lab will enable you to install Python on your laptop locally. If you rather prefer to work in the beginning with a really easy setup, then it's perfectly fine if you rely on Colab. Right? For Colab, we will have links which you can just use to directly beam you into a Colab setting and then work with the practicals in Colab. That's very easy just to get started. To build on that, my recommendation again would be to get going with Conda and Jupyter Lab, install all these softwares as indicated on the website, and the first week gives you also the chance to clarify any questions you have on that, and later weeks as well, but the first week is specifically dedicated to get you going and to check what kind of setup works for you. Yeah, then otherwise we will work through the different lessons. Within each lesson you will find different sections. Each of these sections, and maybe here the second lesson is a bit more indicative, each of these lessons will have some exercises. Within each lesson, each of these sections will feature exercises which are meant to reassure you that you actually understood what is part of this section, what is relevant here. Depending on your experience, if you are quite familiar already with Python, you can also do it the other way around and see how far you get within each practical. The practicals are divided into different parts, and if you realize you're struggling, having a hard time to get through there, then it's a perfect indicator that you should have a look at the individual sections to see what the content of that specific lesson actually is. And within each section you can again dive into these exercises and see where certain issues are. The labs will be the dedicated space where we can clarify each of the questions you have, but in order to have any questions, of course, you need to prepare accordingly. So that would be the entire idea of the flipped classroom setting, which you can read up to in the syllabus. And I guess we will make that clear in the very first lesson that you definitely have to prepare. You will also realize that the later chapters and lessons are still empty. So this course website, this Jupyter book, is still in development and it will evolve over the stretch of the semester. So also make sure that you look up the latest section and just get the most updated version. Yeah, this is probably what is relevant towards the lessons. I would also like to invite you to provide feedback. The feedback is not only meant to improve the course for the upcoming semesters, but also to improve the course for you. Given that it will be a novel experience for all of us, we will stumble over certain things. So I'm quite certain there are issues I did not foresee. And this is your opportunity to provide feedback to me and us as a team. So, for example, you will find on the top of every site a short edit section. This will directly beam you into GitHub. So if you have a GitHub account, you can log in and directly edit that specific page, as maybe there is a typo or any kind of issue that is easy to foresee. This actually should read like something else, and then you can directly edit here and commit your changes. Then I can see your commits and evaluate whether they should be incorporated or rather not. Right? So this is one easy way to edit that site directly. Otherwise, you can just use Teams, and for each lesson we will have a dedicated channel where you can also provide any kind of feedback that is most welcome. Otherwise, you can also use that Padlet board and express whatever you like about the course or you rather dislike, which you would like to see improved upon, or if you have any kind of suggestions. Just press on the plus icon, give it a subject, provide a bit of content on what you would like to submit, and then everyone can see that. However, it is anonymous, so it doesn't provide your name. So I think it's just fair that we are open about the feedback we would like to provide, and at the same time you don't have to worry that we trace that back to you, but you can of course be open and approach us directly also during the labs and provide any kind of feedback. That would be really appreciated, given that it's meant to improve over time. Otherwise, information on the projects which we will release about the midterm period can be found in here. Currently there's nothing in there, but we will provide that information. It's just not relevant at the moment, so only towards mid of the semester we will deal with the projects in depth, so nothing to worry about right now. Otherwise, you will find a glossary indicating a brief definition of the different terms. So if you want to look up something more specifically, you will find that here, and you will find that throughout the Jupyter book, and this is something I really appreciate, it's quite interactive. You can use these mouse over effects just to get a brief definition of these words highlighted with a certain link. Otherwise also that section will evolve over the time span of the course. So it's far from perfect, but we aim to get there. Cool, that's it for the moment. Then I hope you have a great start and see you in the labs.